11B, number 1. A law school finds the following relationship between LSAT scores and first-year scores. The average LSAT score 165, SD of 5. Average first-year score 65, SD of 10 with an R value of 0.6. The admission officer uses the regression line to predict first-year scores from LSAT scores. The RMS error of the line is blank. Where do we get the RMS error from? We're going to take the SDY and multiply it by the square root of 1 minus R squared. And just so you remember, this is what RMS error means. We have a football with a shape of 0.6. So there's our football. Here is our point of averages. Our regression line is going to be something like that. And we have an X average of 165 and a Y average of 65. The SD of Y is 10 and the SD of X is 5. So here's a quick review of what's going on. If I go on the x-axis from 170 down to 160, and I draw that, I should capture 68% of the people. Okay? And I can do the same thing with the y-axis. If I go up to 75 and down to 55, and I draw that, I should capture 68% of the people. Now this is a different 68 than the X, but it's still 2/3 of the population. And then what we learned in this section is we can actually draw two lines that are parallel to the regression line. So if I go up and down, one RMS error, this will capture 68% of the people also. And what do we know about the comparison between the SDY and the RMS error? The RMS error is always smaller. Why is that? Well, because it follows the trend. The window that captures 68% of the people here is smaller than the window that captures 68% of the people here, because the red window is slanted along with everything else. And the RMS error measures how far are you away from the regression line. So we essentially take this person, calculate how far away from the regression line they are, and then we do that with every single person. And then we do the RMS trick. Square them, add them together, take the average, and then take the square root. And that gives us the RMS error. It essentially is the SD where the distance is measured away from the regression line. Okay? Now, that was a mouthful. So, the admission offices uses the regression line to predict first-year scores from LSAT scores. The RMS error of the line is, well, the RMS error is a vertical distance. So we're certainly not going to use the SDX to compute it. We're going to use the SDY. So we start with 10. And the RMS error is calculated using R, because the shape of the football is going to determine how big the RMS error is in connection with the SDY. And how much bigger is it? We take the SDY and we multiply it by 1 minus R squared, and then we take the square root of that. So it's going to be 10 times the square root of 1 minus 0.6 squared. So that would be the last option. Does everybody get that? I do need to get that formula up on the board.